Alrighty, part two here of my screencast for the October 5th, 2017 lottery data. I realize I got a lot to say about this one, but there's a lot of data, and I did a fair amount of math, and I guess I just don't feel like rushing it. So here we go. Where were we? We just talked about the column F, the odds of winning with a 16-person permit party, how great those were for January, and how that really didn't help you for any of the 3/4 of the year, March through October, right? Not a single date in this range is over a 10% chance, which means it's not the amount of work it would take to do a 16 permit party is, I would say, is not worth it. If you don't want to go in the winter, you're just, is a 6% chance better than a 0.8% chance? Yes, but it's still a ton of work to for such a small likelihood of a positive outcome. And if you look at these most popular dates, you weren't even over 3% chance. Well, let's talk about the people who, of course, have 1 point. That means you've been down the Grand Canyon in the last year, but not the calendar year, of course, that's for the lottery. So if you've been in 2018, you have 0 points. You are not allowed to go down the Grand Canyon again. But if you have been in 2017, you, of course, have 1 point. And so for these folks, the best odds they had is 2.17%. So this system really doesn't work for the people who go year over year. And of course, their worst odds, we can see 0.3%. That's a very, very, very small fraction of a percent. All right. And then, of course, our averages down here at 0.38%. And then our average, don't let these... our average for column F with the max permit party size is 30%. But again, I wouldn't let that fool you. Don't take that data too much to heart. And why? Well, because you have these high ranges. That 173% really bumps the data to the right. If I did the median of this data, let's show that, equals median value, which means the most common value in the data set, it's going to be a lot lower, right? We can see that median value is 7%. So you really, the most common number in the data set is 7%. So if you have a full permit party and you pick an average set of dates, that's probably what you're going to get. And then if we look at the median value for 1 point odds, it's 0.9%. Okay. Odds of winning based on the average point per app. So, of course, that number comes from down here where we average numbers J2 through J25, get 4.13, and then divide those by the total number of winning apps. So let's look at that. You can see the math right here. We did I2 divided by J2. Oh, sorry. I2 divided by 4.14. There we go. That's right. So if you're just the average applicant, these are what your odds are. That's what this column's for. All right. You see my conditional formatting. Anything over 5% gets darker green, but if you're not over 1%, it really doesn't highlight. January dates look good. Everything else doesn't. Okay. The odds of winning permit had. That's where we take the total chances from all applications and divide by the number of points the winning permit had. So column, in this case, J2 divided by I2. And it shows the same thing across. You're seeing these patterns now. January 4th was a good date. Everything else was pretty much a bad date, except for these other December dates. And then, of course, column B, the really sad, depressing column, it shows the odds of losing. And we just take the odds of winning and subtract them from 100%. And and then we get the odds of losing, right? We had one date with less than 90% odds of losing. That was January 1st, right? So again, you got to ask yourself from an access standpoint, is a lottery where your odds of losing are 100%? Let's pull our median over here. The average odds are 98.55, but our median, most states, 100% chance of losing, right? So, and I look at this, this was a hard lottery for me to watch, honestly, and that's probably why I have a lot to say in this screencast, and it's become a 2-part vlog entry, and that's because I look at this as a system that's not working, a system where the majority of the people that enter are going to lose is not working. That's not equitable or equal access. To me, it's not, and maybe you disagree, and that's okay. But that's what this data shows. So, okay, or the data shows that the majority of people who entered this lottery lost, and that's what it shows for all these lotteries, but particularly this one. This one had a really high median. So let's finish this up. Looking at my graph down here, where of course in green I have bars where you had your odds of winning, right? With max points, say you had a permit party, and you can see the trend line there. Red, of course, we have your odds of losing, and you can see the trend line's basically 100%, right? It shows that median. You can see your error bars, but trend line's right there at 100%, all the way across, even into December, which is crazy, right? Well, I'm so surprised this December still at 98, 99% chance of losing in contrast to this January. You typically don't see that. Other things of note. I mean, all these numbers you've seen before, right? All these other trend lines are odds of winning. They come from the odds the winning permit had, the odds based on the average point per app, the 1-person odds, the 16-person odds, and they're all low. The highest ones are, of course, our scenario with this permit party in January, but everything else doesn't even scratch above 10%. You don't even have trend lines that pop up on this thing unless it's for losing. So there you have it. Those are the cancellation, that's the lottery data. Over in this tab, I'll just show this. These are the cancellation rates I call it cancellation rates, but really what I'm doing right here is I'm dividing these numbers and comparing them to percent. So I'm dividing the number of permits to the application volume in the lottery and seeing what percent that is. And this lottery had the lowest percent, 1.2%. Main lottery, 7%, 2%, 1% for this follow-up. So all these numbers are really low, which means there's a lot more people applying for permits than there are available. And that for me is really sad, because when those numbers get further and further apart, when there's a whole lot more volume and a very little compared to a set amount of permits, that means there's a lot of people who lose, and that's what happened in this lottery. We can congratulate, and honestly, congratulations to the 24 people who won. But this project I do is really about the people who lost, the 2,321 people who lost. So sorry to you guys. We got to work on this system. All right. Bye, everyone.